I made this video to put some visuals for baking a sourdough bread, taking into account that you already have a sourdough starter. Here is what you will need. For the sourdough, 90 grams of sourdough, 90 grams of water, 90 grams of white bread flour, and I'll explain soon how to make that. And then for the bread, 90 grams of sourdough, 520 grams of white bread flour, 385 grams water, 2 teaspoons salt. Here is how you do it. 24 hours before you want to eat the bread, add together in a bowl 90 grams of sourdough starter, 90 grams of water, 90 grams of white bread flour. I start this process normally on Friday morning if I want fresh bread for Saturday morning. So now you can throw away the rest of the starter or you can prepare it for someone else. Wash the bottle. Mix the sourdough, water and flour and put it in a clean bottle. Mark the line of the starter with a non-permanent marker and then put it aside at room temperature. The sourdough will start to rise and it has to rise to double the amount before it can be used in the baking process. You will even see that after rising to double the amount, you will even see that it kind of fall down a centimeter or so. That's okay. After about 8 to 12 hours later, for me it will be Friday evening, add together in a bowl 90 grams of the sourdough, which has doubled since the morning. Make a new starter for later use with the 90 grams of what is left over in the bottle. Also add 520 grams white bread flour, 385 grams water, 2 teaspoons salt, and then you mix that well. You leave the mix for 15 minutes and then fold the dough from side to center as seen on the video. Repeat this again after another 15 minutes. Now place a wet towel over the bowl and then you leave it to rise overnight. The next morning, or about 8 to 12 hours later, you should find the dough has filled the bowl or at least tripled the amount of the previous night. So now you take a bread pan out. Mine is about 25 by 10 by 7 centimeters and butter the inside well. Wet your hands and then take the dough out of the bowl. Form it with your hands until it is a long piece of dough as seen on the video. Fold it back in the bowl. Pick the dough up again and repeat the process. Form it with your hands until a long piece of dough and fold it over, this time in the bread pan. I then form it lightly with my fingers until the dough filled the pan. Put a piece of foil over it and allow it to rise well for another hour or hour and a half. I normally go for hour and a half. After an hour or hour and a half, switch the oven on to 180 degrees Celsius. Bake the bread for 1 hour. What is important is that to keep the foil on for about 40 minutes before removing it, to allow the bread to brown on the top for the last 20 or so minutes. Take it out, allow it to cool down for a couple of minutes before you cut it and before you attack it with some fresh butter and other condiments. Enjoy.